Welcome back to the Beliucci Hour Lunch. Ryan Broninger, Beliucci with you here on the stage at the Tap on Harvey Road. Forget Monday nights here at the Tap, karaoke. Tonight, Wednesday night, piano bar, and then tomorrow during the day, we'll be back here for our regularly scheduled Beliucci Hour show of the week, every week, Monday and Thursday. We need some questions from you guys from here at the Tap. So if you got a pen and some of these note cards, all we've got here is the front table begging for money, which is hysterical to me and a little bit pathetic if we're being honest. And then we have somebody talking about, apparently there's prop bets going on now in the crowd about how late Lucci will be. So we need questions. It's signing day. I know y'all got stuff y'all want to talk about. Front table, ask us negative stuff. It'll get Billy fired up. We'll get him talking about it and let him just talk until 1 o'clock. But for the remainder of the day, in the recruiting world, there are a couple of signatures that A&M fans are keeping an eye on. One of those will happen at 1 o'clock with Houston North Forest offensive lineman Javon Shepard, who will be making his announcement at Del Mar Stadium, or at Del Mar Athletic Complex there in HISD. Listen, we are at less than a 1% chance that he signs with the Aggies, but an A&M hat will be on the table. We fully expect Javon to stick with his commitment to Texas. He's been committed to Texas since last summer, did not sign with Texas early. Entertained A&M to the point of officially visiting and giving off some strong vibes that he would ultimately flip to the Aggies on signing day. But we think that Texas has countered it and answered with the final official visit, and he will ink with Tom Herman and the Longhorns at 1. That's at least what we believe. We believed it heading into really this week on Monday, and it's been nothing but reinforced as we go into the day. And then at 4 o'clock, keep an eye on Dyersburg, Tennessee linebacker Chris Russell. Aggies, Razorbacks, and Volunteers, the final three for him. A&M really looking like they're in a great spot to land a kid that, man, when you look at this linebacker class and you go and look at all of them on film, and I'm just talking about the four that have signed with A&M, and then if you get him to be the fifth, Billy, just looking at his tape, he's probably the best prospect at linebacker A&M will be bringing in.
I think so. I think if you had people really sit down in a room and evaluate these guys, and I think being conservative, I think he's a top 15 talent in the country at that position this year. I mean, I said on the morning show, somebody told me, watch his tape, compare him to the top 10 guys, he's one of them. And that rings true when you watch it. And I did go through and I've seen Christian Harris, I've seen Nakobe Dean. I always forget his name, Bronny.
DeGabriel Floyd?
No. Yeah, DeGabriel Floyd too, but the guy that's going to Clemson that was
Kane
Patterson. I think he's better than that's a Tennessee guy, right? He's
Nashville, yeah.
He's better to me. He's better than Kane Patterson.
Buffalo Tenders today?
Yeah, I'm gonna have a
big
couple
day. Yeah, big day for you.
He's better than Kane Patterson on tape, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And in fact, it's really I don't think many people would look at that and say otherwise.
And again, I think it's an underrated part, or not even underrated, but an underlooked at part of what this linebacker class is you're bringing in 5 guys that have played that position. Mm-hmm. And it's not like, Buddy Johnson, who everybody thinks is going to be a really good player here. He didn't play linebacker in high school. And Christian Harris was one of your bigger targets. And don't get me wrong, me, you, every A&M fan, all the A&M coaches would have loved to sign Christian Harris.
Yeah.
Because of the upside talent there is. But I do think there's something to be said that you're signing 5 guys that have played their entire high school career as linebackers.
Yeah. No, there's something to be said for that without question, especially when you're talking about potential for early impact, which 1 or 2 of these guys are going to have to do this year, just from a sheer numbers standpoint.
And it looks like, Andre White's in early.
That's big.
And that's a guy that we don't talk about enough because Pennsylvania kid, he win the classification defensive MVP.
Felt like Texas A&M just got happier and happier and happier with that commit as it went on. And I know when they committed him, it was kind of out of the blue on his visit. I know I texted you about it.
We didn't even know he was in town.
And it was like, are they going to hold on to that one with him being a Pennsylvania guy? And that's a really nice add, and to get him at the midterm is significant. I mean, if we're going to go position by position, we start with
we're
linebacker.
we're gonna go through the entire class.
Yeah, I'm saying we just
but
did
I want
linebackers.
I want to get your take on the Braden Mowry situation.
Okay.
What we're talking about right now is we're looking at signatures still out there.
But I'm trying to wrap this up so we don't redo linebacker.
Okay.
We just did it, and I think my summation of it is with Chris Russell in the boat, if they make that official this afternoon as we expect, I think that is the most underrated position group in this class because people are going to look at it and go, I got 5 guys. There's no Nakobe Dean or Christian Harris. It has a chance to be a really good group when we look back on it in a couple of years.
If A&M signs Chris Russell later today, for those of you that didn't hear us this morning, this was a kid that was not on A&M's radar at all until December 18th or 20th, whatever that early signing day was. What a job by Jimbo Fisher and his staff, mainly Bradley Del Pivito, not only to identify the kid, but to get up there and recruit him when he had visits in schools like Tennessee and Arkansas and Auburn. He's got an Auburn offer. Those schools had been in on him for a little bit at least. A&M went up there, dead cold, and may end up winning that thing. That's an incredible job of recruiting and the kind of impact, like you said, elite level recruiting. There's not a guy that's not going to listen to A&M now. They're going to be able to go in schools, go in home, especially if you get the kid to campus. They're going to listen intently to Texas A&M. That's something that's new to a lot of Aggie fans.
Yeah.
So your take on the Braden Mowry situation still, at our last check, unclear whether he was going to sign today or take a gray shirt to A&M, still working through his future and academic standard as it stands today and as it stands for the future. If A&M signs him, like we said, it should be celebrated like you're signing a Jeremiah Martin or a Joseph Osai. Like that's the kind of guy you're signing. It won't be because he's been committed for so long. But where does Braden fit in amongst a growing group of pass rushers on this A&M roster?
Oh, I think he could. I mean, his talent level, again, this is a guy that would have been a monster deal had they just landed him today. And I think you're going to see him gray shirt. They have till about April. I think it's April 1st to sign. So it's a situation where you can kind of sit back and go, and Braden's on board with it. This is something that's been talked about. He talked about it with you specifically.
Yeah, they're not surprising the kid by
this. But he could go until April, and you can see the midterm grades and see where he's at and say, okay, well, let's go ahead and do this gray shirt thing or let's sign. And on top of it, you check the transfer portal too. Imagine the next week or two after signing day, after coaching changes and stuff, you see what's going on in the transfer portal. Hell, A&M might add a JC linebacker or a JC interior lineman or a JC I say JC, I'm talking about grad transfer. I don't know why I keep saying junior college. Linebacker.
That's if you don't get to 26, yeah.
Would it kill you to add like another Trevor Wood and have a senior tight end that's played to go with? I'm spitballing positions here. Interior line, tight end, linebacker, defensive back.
Mm-hmm. Nick Harvey's back in there.
Yeah, Nick Harvey. Wouldn't that be crazy? Pass rusher. There's a lot of areas where you could go, yeah, they could do a one-year rental there with somebody that's proven. So it
doesn't hurt you with a scholarship in 2020.
No, because it's not a huge deal in terms of there's not a lot out there in terms of pass rushers next year in state.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, for Braden and A&M, it works. I like it, and I think he's a guy that by year 2 on campus can be pretty damn impactful.
On the other side of the break, we're going to get into specific, give you a little bit of a grade on each position. But does the early signing day, like this used to be an enormous day for our company, for a lot of people around the country, for a lot of A&M fans. Now that this is our second year going through this, do you like it where it's split in half? Last year this was a lot of fun, right? Because of the furious push, Jimbo Fisher and company. I think what they signed, 17 in the second signing day?
Yeah.
Was it something like that?
Yeah.
Now that you've had 1 year where you're only inking 2, maybe 3 guys, do you have any kind of feeling on to me this has been – it's still a big day. I mean, look at the crowd we've got here. Look at the numbers that we've had on the site today. But it just seems like, there's all this build-up and there's just not a lot happening in the morning. And It's just
Yeah,
different.
I just think I'm fine. I like the excitement, and as long as people don't sit there and think like it's some kind of like buzzkill. You had 3 spots. If A&M had 9 spots today, there's a lot more going on. There's a lot more excitement and a lot more guys to get or not get to shift your opinion on a class. But this shouldn't change very much of anything in terms of how you feel about this recruiting class.
In the long game, Luch, when you're sitting in Kyle Field on a Saturday and these group of players are beating Alabama in the fourth quarter, you're not going to give a crap how you felt on the second signing day.
Yeah.
It ain't going to matter. So we'll get into some class grades and maybe a little bit more superlatives on the other side of the break. You listen to Beliucci Hour Lunch live on The Zone.